The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
LA, straight up. Just go out to LA. The new anthem. California Love Part 2. One time. To live in LA. West side, west side, west side. To live in Don LA, where everybody try to fatten their pocket. So many hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing, currency chasing. Worldwide through the hard times, worrying faces. Shed tears as we
Well, hello. God bless your community family. Welcome to Gang Talk. We're here in studio live as we like to come and share this very important conversation with you. And as we always start, we'd like to thank our guests from last week. And we hope you listened last week because we had three extraordinary men come and be very candid with us about their history and their vision and their purpose, newfound purpose, and the work that they're doing. And so we just want to thank Daryl Gray and Terrence Shepard. And they brought a new young man, Big Will, who, bless Big Will's heart, he's just returned from lockup, been home about 4 years, and he's working with Terrence and Daryl. And these are men that are coming home, living to reclaim their life and living to give back and living to make a difference. So we celebrate that commitment. We appreciate that, and we need them to all be thinking that way. So we want to thank them for coming last week, and we want to thank you, community family, for paying attention. So God bless you, and welcome to this very important hour. As you see, we have two beautiful ladies with us tonight, and they are very special in this work. And I just did whatever I had to do to try to convince them to come tonight so we could do something special for them. So I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. Let's start with Barbara.
My name is Barbara Pritchett. I'm the mother of DeAndre Hughes and Devon
Speaking to the mic.
My name is Barbara Pritchett. I'm the mother of DeAndre Hughes and Devon Harris, which both was murdered. Devon was murdered in June of 2007, and DeAndre was murdered in July of 2016.
Cynthia.
My name is Cynthia Mendenhall. They call me Sister Soldier from the Watts, California. Why I'm doing the work, I was doing the work saving lives and helping other mothers of murdered children. It knocked on my door in 2006. My son, Anthony Wayne Owens Jr., he was murdered, and then in 60 days, I lost another son, Darion Dwight Derrick Cole Sr., while I'm doing the work. I was in the process that day when Tony was murdered, helping someone else with another funeral.
Yes.
And they knocked on the door and said, your son was just murdered.
Yes.
And I said, no, not my son. No. So I just sit there. I was in shock.
Yes. And you know what? Bless your hearts. You're the reason I'm here. You're the reason I'm here. And it's with heartbreak to say that I was there with your first son, and your second son, too. The second one, too. You know, we've been at this so long as women, as mothers, as community members, as neighbors, you know, and I ask you here tonight for a very special reason because, you know, I'm going to keep saying I'm leaving Gang Talk at the end of this year.
What?
Yes. And
so what are we going to do? This is our voice in the community.
No, you're our voice.
This is our voice.
Listen. Gang Talk doesn't have to end. I just need to move my behind out of the seat, okay? And share the space.
Yes.
I don't own this. This is about us. And this seat is available to anyone willing and prepared to come occupy it.
Yeah.
that's the truth of what we do and who we are. And so that's the beauty about you too. And that's why I wanted to say thank you. This is a thank you hour to women that have been dedicated in the work. And so I had to do something special for you all. Because, I hear your names all the time. I see you out working. We've been on so many corners together. And the one thing I don't see very often is a thank you, sister. Thank you, Barbara. So, this is my thank you to our mothers. And I want to be sure that I got it right because I found these pretty purple bags. I thought pink. But no, I want to do purple. And I can't see. Check that. Let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. It's a shame when you break your reading glasses and you can't read your prescriptions.
This Barbara's.
This is Barbara's. This is yours.
This Barbara.
Oh, wow.
This is yours.
Beautiful, Barbara. This your bag, Barbara.
Oh, wow.
This your glass going here. This is going inside of here. This, you know what? People like us don't get awards. We don't get nothing.
I know.
Wow.
Trust me, I
we
know.
We just do the work.
You just do the work. And so I felt like my ladies deserve a memento, a token that says thank you. And what does it say, Cynthia?
Gang, Talk Radio, Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yep.
Present.
Lifetime Achievement Award, that's right.
Yes, yes. And Barbara, too.
Yes.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You two ladies are amazing. And the truth is, Kathy, I'm sorry we missed you tonight because this is supposed to be a four ladies
she's
here.
Out there helping.
Yeah, she's out helping, and I understand there's a tragedy going on.
That's what I was doing. Hispanic. I left the Hispanic lady at my house.
Oh, okay.
I told my husband I'd be back.
Okay.
And my grandson, they talking to her.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay, because you will be right back. Bless your heart, you will be right back. And I talked to Vicki Lindsay.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
and
yes.
Vicki, if you're listening,
Been around a long time.
she's the reason for my being here.
She's been around here a long time.
And she inspired me to do this.
Yes.
She inspired me. She inspired me to be in the work. Her and Charlotte Austin Jordan and Lorna Hawkins and LaWanda Hawkins. These were the ladies in the forefront in the beginning. Yes,
pioneers.
In the
they
beginning.
are pioneers. I started with them.
Yes.
They're pioneers.
Yes. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And when you think about Vicki and how much she has invested in our families.
In the 90s and the 80s.
Yes. And how many she's touched.
And we all lost our kids while doing the work.
Yes.
All of us lost our kids.
All of you.
Before we started doing the work, our kids was living.
Yes.
And all of us, men's and women's, is doing the work. We lost our kids.
Yes.
And we still continue doing the work.
Still continue
Vicki
doing
and
the
all
work.
Of us.
Yes.
LaWanda.
Yes. Yes. It is special. It is special. And let me ask you, because I know there was a conclusion with Barbara's case, but did they ever find the murderer of your son?
No.
Never.
They're not going to never. Because nowadays people don't come forward like when we was little. So they threaten peoples. Everybody can. No matter if you live in the Nickerson, the Jordan Down, Imperial Courts, the Peplo, no matter where you live, everybody is kin. So they showing these people how to beat their cases. They're telling these people how they beat their cases. And we, the parents and the family, we just grieving, and we never will be the same.
No.
We'll never, and nobody know how we feel.
Well, you know what? That's what
my friend just had a heart attack. She couldn't do it. She lost her son, and she couldn't get herself back together.
You know, this is what makes you
listen.
This is what makes you so extraordinary, because this is not something everybody can do.
No.
And I had a friend
They
at
can't,
church.
Barbara.
Very dedicated church member friend of mine. And when I stepped out in this work, she was happy to see a church member get involved. And she came out, tried to see if she could find a place in this. And on her first outing, she had to break up a street fight between one of our kids from our church that didn't live in the area where we were meeting at that day, but he came out of his neighborhood to come over to this neighborhood to talk about how dangerous things were for him and his friends and that kind of thing. And because he wasn't in his neighborhood, he got confronted by the local people from the neighborhood. And bless her heart, they were doing this face-off right in the middle of this street. And no shame on the men, but they were grown men standing on the curb, at least 6 grown men standing there just watching this thing unfold. And my lady friend jumped out in the street, grabbed one of them by the shirt and the other one in a chokehold around the neck, and turned him around and told him, "You're not going to do this.
I know exactly
You're not
what
going to do
my
this."
teeth out.
Yes.
That's why my teeth are missing.
But see, this is how
Because
the
I
emotion.
I got in the middle
Yeah,
of 2 guys.
Yeah.
One, I didn't know the other one had a gun.
right.
And boom, he knocked me out.
Yeah. That's how
And I had to
dangerous it
jump
is.
up real quick because they was finna kill him.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
say he knocked out sister.
Yeah.
Are you sure? And I was dazed.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm okay.
Right.
Just let me talk to both of them. Like, moms, we sorry. Because everybody was scared. They ran in the gym, came and got me.
Yeah.
I don't work here. What you mean y'all work here? They like, sister, could you talk to them?
There are
And
some people. There
and
are
I got
some
my,
people
off-
that the young
I
folks
couldn't afford it. I
trust.
still can't afford it. And my mouth was knocked out because I saved 2 lives that day.
But you know what? I want to say the difference between you and my friend. She broke that street fight up. One of the young men was going to go home down the street and get his gun, and she told him, "No, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere," and kept him there till we could get our young men away from the area and out safely. And then she just broke down. She just broke down and cried, and that was the last time. First and last time to come in this work.
Everybody can't do this.
Everybody can't do it.
They can't do it.
Do you think a whole lot of women going to stand here and take a punch like you did? See, this is what makes you special.
And take the gun from him.
Yeah.
The chief looked at me. He looked at me. The captain looked at me.
Women do things that men won't do.
I
And look,
got it.
the
They
men,
said you got
listen,
it.
the men that were on the curb that time, and it became very clear
And you
to
know
me.
what? Your boy stepped down. He stepped down. He could have killed him.
Yeah.
Your boy did.
Who?
My husband. Tangerine.
Oh,
Captain Tangerine was standing right there.
okay.
He could have blew his head off.
Yeah, he could
It
have.
would have been justified.
It would have been justified.
Okay? It would have been justified. And me and him running together. And then he did like this. And I said, I got him. I got him.
Yeah.
He said, you got it?
Yeah, you got
And then
it.
he went and talked about it, that money at the gang task force.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, I did not know how much work she do until now.
Yeah.
I was with sister all night when all this was going on.
Right.
Chicken had just got murdered. Then everybody blaming each other.
Right.
Because like I just told you about my son.
Yeah, but you know what? It is a blame game.
because
It is a
y'all-
blame game.
Why's
though.
y'all out here? Y'all going to tell them niggas chicken dead? This is what they telling the girls. And now it's a big old gang fight with each other.
Yeah.
Because everybody want to study solving it. Everybody's blaming each other.
It's the nature of the beast. That's the way it happens in every neighborhood, huh, Barbara?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody
Come
blaming
on,
each
get in
other.
this conversation. You see, because Barbara's first son was killed when he was just 15. Coming home off
And
the
the second
bus.
one we love.
Yes, he was just killed in 2016
He's
over some
imperial, baby.
foolishness that he had nothing to do with.
Nothing.
And this is what makes it so hard. You women have stepped out in front, put your lives and safety at risk to confront young men not in their right mind, not exercising good judgment, and you save some lives. You save lives.
Right.
And this is what people don't understand. The power of our mothers, the power of our women. And I like for them to know, I started with you. I didn't start with the men. I started with the mothers. Vicki Lindsay,
Yes.
Charlotte Austin Jordan, LaWanda
Dee Dee.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Lorna Hawkins, marching around the city. As I tell the young men, we were marching and crying and trying to get your attention.
And
But
still
because-
trying to get their attention.
Well, you know what? Truthfully, we're doing better than we were in those days. Because in those days, they hated us because they saw law enforcement leading us.
They
Well,
didn't like that.
who else was going to help us? We were out here trying to help ourselves. So we're marching with the community. We're marching with children. And who's keeping us safe? Law enforcement and the few pastors that showed up in those years. So,
And a lot of times the men still want the women at the meetings
yeah.
because I couldn't even go into the mosque. Once Imperial Course in Nickerson meet, but I couldn't go into the mosque with them at the meeting during the peace treaty.
Mm.
I was a part of the peace treaty from day one. From day one.
You
But
talking
I
about
couldn't
from
go in the
92?
meetings. I couldn't go in the meetings with the men.
No.
Not only that, no, I'm talking about that's then and before that. Like me and Smurf was talking the other day on Saturday at the Cancer March. We had something before that. It just ain't talked about. It's more than what people think. It's a lot of things that went on where they don't allow women to be at the table.
No.
Right.
And you know what? I have talked about a little bit about that pushback. And I understand it. I've seen it firsthand. And a lot of it is unresolved. It's unresolved trauma. That's really what it is. And some of these men don't know what to do now. They know they have traumatized us.
Right.
They know they have traumatized the communities they're from. Them and their friends have traumatized the communities where they're from and traumatized their enemies' territory as well. So we are suffering from trauma. As a people, we're suffering from trauma. And the murder of our children at the hands of our own people is the biggest trauma we could even imagine. So, Barbara, I want you to get in this conversation because you really are reaching out to the young through your organization.
Yes.
Yes, and doing things like having baseball games and events for them, and that plays such an important part in the healing process.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about some of these young men?
Well, my goal more than anything is to be able to reach out to them and to reach out to some of the mothers to let them know that when you're exposed to this tragedy, that you don't have to take it and just sit in it. You can find a purpose in it to give back to the community, as well as to be able to keep your son or daughter memory alive. So I chose to go back to the communities, even though both of my children were murdered in the community. Basically, I chose to go back to the community to be able to show them that I'm determined to stand, opposed to what I've been dealt with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was, that leads me to another special reason, because I didn't want to just, I wanted to get Vicki Lindsay here. She was supposed to be your surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, because if it wasn't for Vicki, I wouldn't know you, Cynthia. I wouldn't know you, Barbara.
Exactly.
And Vicki has been such a pivotal part of victims' assistance and family support. Really standing in for
You
grieving
call her,
mothers.
She was there. and
Well,
other
you know
mothers.
what? She called you. You show up.
Yeah.
Okay, and how many corners have we stood on because Vicki
Exactly.
called us and we came
Exactly.
together for that family.
Exactly.
So, excuse me, I have one of these for her too.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
the 4 women
Yes.
that are the reason for
and
me.
Kathy too.
Yes,
Kathy too.
Dr. Cynthia Mendenhall, Barbara Pritchard Hughes, Kathy Miller Wooten,
Yes.
and Cynthia
And
Vicki
Vicki.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Yes, yes. four ladies,
from different parts of the city.
Yes.
So we covered the whole city.
Yes.
All the cities.
Vicky from Compton.
No,
and
from
she's
Sacramento.
from Compton, but she goes all the way to Sacramento. She
I work in
owns
Sacramento.
Inglewood. She can go from the 10 freeway just like me down to San Pedro and meet LaWanda down there. You know, so we, as women, we cover the whole neighborhood.
We cover California.
Not afraid.
From Oakland to Arizona.
I'm not worried about Oakland, Arizona. I'm worried about Oakland. But
no, our people's is there.
I know that's okay. You know, I'm only concerned about the Los Angeles area.
No, I know. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
They moving there. So therefore, SAC is calling us. Arizona is calling us. Because they are what? Our people. Nickerson, Imperial, Jordan, Vegas, Arizona, SAC, all the places I'm, telling you. They calling us.
Yeah.
Do you know such and such?
Yeah.
Do you know such and such? Could you help me?
I see what you're saying. See,
yes.
You know, we have made progress out here.
Exactly.
L.A., Los Angeles, and homicide, we have cut that down in the last 10, 15 years. It
Ray
has
just
really
got killed
reduced.
in Vegas. We had to go help his mother.
Yeah.
She was like, could y'all tell sister? I was doing my son's anniversary. I had to put my stuff on hold to go help her.
Yeah.
Because we don't want another murder.
Well, this is a shame. See, you know, L.A. is sending a message that we're about peace. We're moving in the peace movement, and the rest of the country wants to know how we got there.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's really what they're calling to find out. How did y'all make that happen? And the truth is, it's been a partnership between ex-offenders and mothers. You know, because we need the ex-offenders. As I said when I started,
Yes.
we walking around the city crying and begging, and these young brothers wasn't trying to hear us. You see, but when they came back with the men, came back in their right mind and saw, well, we need to do something about this.
Right.
And then the mothers came and said, yeah, you do.
Yes, because Keelan and Bo Taylor said, we need to go get sister. So I used to be the only woman with Bo Taylor's, Keela, Daul, Smurf, all of us.
Days. That was Bo Taylor was around
6'4",
early days.
all of us used to be, and I'd be the only woman. And they said we have to listen.
Yeah.
They at that time, before that, no one would listen. But I'm gonna tell you something. Everything comes from the pen.
Yeah.
Everything comes from the pen.
We talked about that last week, that there was a movement afoot from men in lockup sending a message to the young homies here, don't come this way.
Right.
Don't come this way. And it was very effective
Yes.
For a while. But the point that I'm trying to make is whatever we've been doing in the last 15 years
It works.
has brought the homicide rate down. And it has been a partnership with the men and the mothers. That's really what's made it work.
Well, you got more mothers now.
Yeah. Well,
which is a blessing. You got more women's. I got more women's. When I call them, they'll come. Okay, what you need us to do? I said, I need you to go over here with me.
Yeah, we'll take the stand.
Somebody just called. We need to go over here. Like,
well, you know what? Look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, sister. I've been at this a long time. That's the one call I don't want anymore.
Exactly.
I don't want another, my child has been killed, phone call. Can you meet me on the corner?
Exactly.
I don't want that anymore. And what I'm trying to say is that's the biggest change that's going on in Los Angeles right now. We are reducing the murder, and we want to keep on reducing it. We don't want anybody to think that this lifestyle is okay. It's not. And we've already paid too big a price. You know, too big a price for anybody to call you and say, oh, my son just got shot.
Exactly.
It's an outrage. Barbara, get in this conversation. You've just been such a good listener.
No, it's okay.
No, it's not okay because, you know, people need to hear from you.
Yes.
They need to feel your spirit. They need to receive your energy and the goodness that comes out of all of that. You know, because for what folks don't really understand, which is really why I wanted to honor you tonight, is you give so much considering the price you've already paid. the price you've already paid, and now to come back and give back this way and try to save another child.
Mm-hmm.
All I can give you is an orchid and a.
But that's the most, that's the reward from it, is to be able to give back to the communities and to be able to stand with the mothers that falls into the position that we in. We don't want them to come into that position, but as long as they know that they have somebody that's standing with them that have walked those shoes, sometimes it makes a difference. And so that's my goal more than anything, is to be able to go back and give. And then not only that, just to let the persons know that what you thought you did, you didn't do. Even though you caused the havoc and the harm to my family, but I refuse to allow that to take control of me. Right. So I'm going to fight the fight that I can fight. And that's to be able to stand in the gap to say no more. Mm-hmm. We're not going to take this anymore. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
And that's the respect the community gives both of you ladies. That's the beauty about who you are and why I asked you to come here tonight, because you are outstanding role models and heroes in the communities you've lived in. All things considered, heroes. Sheroes. Let me call you the rightful name. Sheroes. You're Sheroes. And, because Kathy is in the same thing. 2 sons killed 45 days apart.
Yes.
And so we have an award for her, too, and the orchids, because, you know what, I wanted to give you something that was living and pretty.
It is. It's beautiful.
And I'm hoping that you'll take them home and make little blossoms. Okay, because that's what these are, little blossoms, and watch it grow. Watch it grow. Such a beautiful little thing, and I thought about flowers. I wanted to give you something, but then I thought...
Well, they always say, give me my flowers while yet I'm living, so I can smell them, so... Yeah, because the thing of it is excuse me, what you just did was... You gave us something that we can look at now, opposed to presenting this to us on the day that we can't even see it or appreciate it, So I appreciate it. I think from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
You know what? You were the motivation. You were, and you know why and how. Bless your heart. And I had never thought about this before then. Yeah. But then when it just struck me, it's like, oh, I got people.
Exactly.
I got people I need to say thank you to.
Exactly. And that's the goal more than anything. That's where my foundation comes in at, because it's people that paved the way before me that's there. And so you have to tell them that I appreciate you, even though in spite of the things that we're all going through, it's the way that you go back and say, you know what, thank you for what you're doing in the community, because, It's you're standing there,
You ladies have made a big difference, really. I can't say that loud enough. If I could scream on the corner, I would scream your name and let them know. Yes. Folks need to appreciate the fact that it didn't just happen. It took work and commitment and love and dedication. And this is who you represent. This is the reason things are changing, because you're respected in your community. People know what you've been through. And the last thing they want to do is hurt you.
Yes.
That's the last thing they want to do. And I saw you work miracles. Cynthia. When folks was upset and ready to go do something, you said, oh, no.
Exactly.
No.
You have to take a stand and say no, because that's the thing more than anything. It's like when you have been exposed to that, people watch you.
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell people. People watch the demeanor of you. And if you about that life, then of course that's the consequences that comes behind it. But if they see you as a vessel and say, you know what, Mama said no, then we have to respect what Mama said. Because Mama don't want another family to be put in that position. Right. I remember I didn't get to say it at DeAndre's service, but when we got to the cemetery, I told him, I said, you know what? I said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for standing here. I said, but please, don't go retaliate.
No.
If you know him and you really knew what his life was about, you would go out and enjoy life.
Yes.
Because that was him more than anything. He was that
Yes.
light that liked to enjoy life. He, like Sister said, that
All the
was
women's
their
love
baby too. You know,
I seen him every day.
yeah.
Because all the women's, he got to go to everybody's house, by my house, because he make them happy.
Mm-hmm.
All of them going through something.
Yeah.
And they needed that spirit.
Yes.
It wasn't about, this is my girl, this is my girl. It was about the spirit that he gave.
Right.
And he was just happy.
He was just happy.
He wouldn't pass you up. He'll stop
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm telling you, two extraordinary ladies sitting right here in front of us. Really, I'm serious. Movers and shakers, creators and waymakers, you know, letting God use you. And in a way that's making a difference. You know,
Yeah.
and it's just a small thank you. When really, you know, I don't know how big.
Just do the work.
Yeah.
I don't talk. A lot of people don't know what I do. And somebody tell them.
Exactly.
I don't talk about the work.
Mm.
I just do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the kids came yesterday. My grandson say, I already know it was going to be a lot of kids. Because you got kids
Halloween,
here.
yeah.
It ain't got to be Halloween. It's kids at your home every day,
That's
Granny.
true. That's true.
My home is the home away from home. Because you got a lot of women who lost kids. They don't get out the bed.
Right, right.
See, I can say a lot of things on the radio, but I don't want to say it because I don't know if they listening.
You don't have to say their name.
You know,
but
no,
you,
not
you
their
know the
names.
state,
I'm just
yeah.
no. They'll know if I'm saying that. Oh, sister.
Look, I had. Look,
But if they knock on the door, I'm finna help you. Or I sit outside with them. They just want to talk.
yes.
You know, the kids just want to talk. And I didn't know how much power we had until I fought the housing authority for our gym.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. But we need more programs.
Yes.
We need more programs. Even though we keep telling the kids, don't do this, don't do that. Go. Like I pop up at Locke. We don't have enough African American parents volunteer. We have a lot of Hispanic volunteers at Locke, but we don't have a lot of African American. We should have a Black Parent Union. We should have something. We had a parent meeting the other day, and everybody was so depressed. I'm looking. They say, anybody got something to say? They looking at me, sister. I say, we all gonna speak.
Exactly.
Starting with you. I don't know what to say. I say, I want to talk about IEPs. I want to talk about mental health. I want to talk about counseling. That's why our kids is going to jail for murder.
Yeah.
Because we sitting here with these secrets, these generation curses, and we don't know how to deal with it.
No, you know what? See, and when you call it a generational curse, which is what it is, we didn't know what the heck it was we was looking at in the beginning. So now at the end, as it's slowing
everybody do
down,
like this.
now we're starting to see some
Everybody-
things. Yeah, we're starting to see some things, but nobody saw any of this coming. Nobody saw any of this
I
coming.
didn't know I could go to the IEP. I said, yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
That's where they kids that have special problems.
Oh, okay.
It don't
Okay.
have to be about education. It can be a behavior problem. They just like to fight. And it be the smartest
Have
kid.
anger.
Yeah, anger. A lot of stuff
They
going
have
on
anger.
at home.
Yeah,
A lot of things going on at home, violent and stuff, domestic violence and stuff.
right.
But you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know if the kids won't open up, and
Now
the
you
truth
look
is,
up the kids
they
done
have
shot
to have
somebody.
somebody
It's
to
a fan.
open up to,
Yeah,
because they're
exactly.
not gonna just talk to anybody. They're not
Exactly.
gonna talk to everybody. This is one of the things that made the Project Fatherhood so powerful, is to have those older men that were participants in the nightmare come back and tell the young kids, hey, look,
Yes.
we messed up, but you have a chance to have a full
Exactly.
life if you just let us help you.
Help.
Let us just help
And
you with
that's-
some guidance and some mentoring and some male role modeling, that kind of thing, and some apologies.
A lot of politics.
And some apologies, yeah.
That's the biggest challenge there, is because the generation that we have now, they don't feel like that the older people can tell them anything.
Yeah.
But in reality, we know more. The life that you guys are living, we've been through that life. And so that was the same things that we said when we were younger,
Yes.
that, you couldn't tell us nothing but the way society is set up is just a recycle. It's repeating over and over and over again. So now you have the younger generations feeling like that the older generation can't say anything to them, but in reality, we can give them wisdom and knowledge,
Right.
because we've been through that.
Right.
Well,
Right.
our generation dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I can say I
Oh, yeah.
apologize.
Definitely, for sure.
Because
kids feel
we
the
didn't have,
pain.
but we didn't have that many people, and all of our people had got life. So these kids was out there, named after their mother, don't know who their fathers is. Now they here. Now they running the hoods, and they're like, "Who is you?"
Who are you? Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then
You-
not
you
only
know.
that, I feel like that we dropped the ball because of the fact that the things that our parents did, we said, no, I'm not doing that to my kid. Or if Miss Sally wanted to whoop my kid, oh, no, Miss Sally don't whoop my kid.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, definitely for sure.
That, you know what, that changed because, when I was growing up, Miss Johnson, Miss Jones, Miss Jackson, Miss Smith, on the four corners, they knew everything going on in that block. They knew our mom and dad. Mom is like, hey,
They
look.
said, "I know your mama ain't been home in a week.
And they tell
Come
you,
over
look,
and get this pot."
I know, no. I know your mama. If I catch you doing something wrong, she gonna know it before you get home. And see, and that was the village that raised me.
Not only that, it was okay for her to whoop you.
Yes, it was.
And so the game changed.
Yeah,
Now
it did.
it's like, oh no, you can't do that.
Well, and I don't mind not whooping me, but tell me, okay? If I'm doing something wrong, say, hey, look, you're doing something wrong. That's out of line. It could hurt you. You could hurt somebody. Give me the guidance. But if you put your hands on me, you've crossed a line. That was okay in my day, but it is not acceptable now. I can't even put my hands on my kids. See, so we don't want strangers doing it too. But what's lost is that village mentality where we're looking out for your kids and you're looking out for my kids too.
Right.
I told them, if you don't see the parent, bring them to me. Because they call it social work. Like if they see somebody, baby, walk with a pamper or kids walking around, they have them call the police. And then I told them, no, call me.
Yeah.
Don't call the police.
Yeah,
Let me
don't
see
call.
where they at.
Yeah.
Or the grandparent or somebody. Because once the kids in the system, they're not getting them back.
Right.
Especially if
hard.
nobody in at the house.
Yeah.
So a lot of these kids is cooking top ramen. They not seeing. Their mom not there. It's the people who being nosy or seeing the kids. Them kids is raising themselves.
They're raising
And the
themselves,
grandparents
yeah.
don't even know because they done moved out.
Right.
So we like, who? Wait a minute, that's the one so daughter.
Yeah,
Let's get them.
I had my friend Frances a couple of days ago. Excuse me. She does Uber. And she said she was doing a delivery. And she said she seen this baby out on the corner. She said that she had to literally stop her delivery because she seen this baby. And she had to figure out who did the baby belong to.
Not by
And
herself.
take it back and say, Mom, you need to lock your door because the baby was out at the corner.
Yeah.
So...
And that's going on a lot.
It is happening quite a
Yeah.
bit now, isn't it? I've seen too
going on
much
a
of that
Yeah.
myself. That's something we never saw before. That seems to be creeping up, a pattern with the kids getting out of the house. I'm not sure how that happens, but they're not stupid. They can figure out how to reach up
'Cause
and
ain't
turn
nobody
that
there.
doorknob. Yeah.
Nobody there.
Nobody's paying
It's
attention.
dark, or you sleep. Sometimes some people there and they sleep, and then they'll say, "Sis, you know who baby this is?" The police will come to my house. "Sis, who baby is this?" I say, "Oh, give them to me, or give it to me. It's gonna be okay. I know them."
Right.
And then I take them back.
Right.
But sometimes, if it's 2 or 3 in the morning, they take them.
Yeah. Oh, they
take
will.
'em.
They will. They will.
So-
There's no guarantees that they're going to let you keep that child. There's no guarantees. It's just that relationship you have with that officer. And,
Is it
and
if
the
it's somebody
relationship
else?
you have.
They wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Because
They wouldn't.
some of them is doing crimes, home invasions, all kind of stuff, and they say, "Sister, you know him? He a good kid." I say, "Yeah." "Oh my God, he an honor roll student, please." "No, he play football." They're like, "Okay, here, get him, sister, get him." Matter of fact, we'll be back to put him in our program because nowadays the officers, they got programs, flyers, they got all kind of stuff they can help them with. Everybody is trying to help.
Yeah.
But because we can't rest our way out of this
No,
problem.
no, we never
We
could have rest
have
our way out of it.
issues. We
And
have
you know what?
issues.
They found out trying. They built more prisons. They overloaded the jail,
Yes.
trying to arrest their way out of this. And we told them years ago, you can't. That's not gonna work. That is not gonna work. It's like, yeah, well, let us go ahead and handcuff him, take him to jail anyway. What do you know?
Yeah, that was the
It's
first
like,
method that they always looked at.
Yeah, there was the Daryl Gates arena. Arrest them all. And back in the days, and I'm not supposed to say things
The New
bad
Day
about
slavery.
folks that ain't here, but they did some
New
dirty
Day
stuff back
slavery.
in those days, and taking. A member of this community and putting him over in his enemy's
Exactly.
territory and taking his shoes.
Yes.
They were doing dirt back then. And how you going to fix this doing stuff? Oh, we have a phone call. Oh, I'm glad you saw that. Oh, God bless you. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Hello. Who's
This
speaking?
is Marcus Woods.
Ah, Marcus, son.
How y'all doing today?
We're doing great.
We're doing great.
So I just wanted to kind of chime in. I was listening to how y'all was saying how the kids was able to be whooped by their neighbors and all that stuff. When I was growing up, there was a such thing as you get home before the lights come on.
Exactly.
If it was the street lights or the porch lights, somebody was telling you your mama calling you. You know.
Exactly.
You better get home.
So yeah, you better get home because your mama been calling you. So that means you got to run if you was 5 blocks away and make your way home. So, I mean, those was the days that I grew up. Nowadays, you got a lot of parents who would tell the neighbors, hey, if my kid out here in the streets, you don't touch him, you don't do nothing to him.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That's the biggest downfall now.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It really is.
But the biggest issue is that if people are fearful of the police or whatever, it's gonna be to a point where don't lock it. It's gonna be to a point where if they come to your household and say, hey, we're gonna take your kids if you don't do this, do that, now you have a fear within the household. So it's a lot of difference between the generations, because back then you couldn't come to my grandmother's gate and tell her, if you don't do this, I'm gonna take your kids. She's gonna cuss on you at the porch. So that's the difference. It's a certain fear that's become of the community, where the mothers, they don't do nothing to their kids because they fear that they gonna either go to jail, or their kids gonna get
You're
took.
right.
Yeah, that does play a part.
If I was to call the police on my mama gonna tell me that you'll be dead before
they get here.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was scared. I was more scared of my mama than the police. So, when you got a lot of kids who are aware of they're more aware than the parents of certain laws.
Yes.
It's the same. It's the same thing as somebody calling the police on a domestic violence case. If they know the law, they're gonna go to whatever extreme, whatever characteristics that they can show, that their parents is doing something to them, so they can get out their house for that moment, not knowing that it's going to be more than a moment.
Well, let me just say this. I'm the old school where the block took care of all the kids that came through, and it may have progressed to where I can't put my hands on my neighbor's child. But I sure can't talk to him until that mother tells me to step back and leave her child alone, to which I have to tell the mother, if your child wasn't doing this, I wouldn't be talking to him. Okay? We can't have it both ways. Look, let me say it very clearly for our mothers. If your child is acting bad in my presence and he's doing things that are going to affect me, I'm going to handle him. I may not put my hands on him, but he's going to hear something from a mother that says you're out of line, something along those, because he's not old enough to take me on. I'm an elder. I'm a senior. I've raised children. Okay, I have grandchildren. How am I going to let an 8-year-old run me? How am I going to let a 10-year-old run me? How am I going to let a 13-year-old pubescent girl tell me who she is and what she thinks she's going to do? You
I
know,
had a kid
that's
in the
my job.
school.
Marcus, do you hear what I'm saying? This is our
Yes, ma'am.
job as the parents is to guide, And if I can't guide you, you better go get your mother. You better go get her and go get her quick. Okay.
There was a kid. There was a kid in one of the classes I had group in, and her first thing was, "Do you know who my mother is?" And I handed her my phone. You know, it comes to the point where, you know, call her on my phone, and we gonna see who she listens to first.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
I seen that
But it's
happen
a lot of
to one of the
it's a
OGs.
lot of teachers that
Call
don't
your
believe
daddy.
in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, call the young dude, call himself checking the OG, pulled up. And I was across the street.
Yep.
And he said, who is you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you can't come on the street. He said, what's your name? I'm Lou such. He said, here you go. Call your daddy on my phone.
Yeah, call your daddy.
And he
Call
say,
him right now.
hello?
Mm-hmm.
He say, this such. He say, don't kill my son. Don't hurt my son.
Mm-hmm.
Give him back the phone. And his son like, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And from that day, he ain't had no problem on that street. He don't even be on that street no more.
Yeah.
See, that's all it takes.
That's what it takes. You have to act like an adult.
Everybody was scared of this kid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you have to act like an adult at some point.
And as they come home,
yeah,
they checking them.
yeah,
Because this one dude just got out.
yeah. Well,
He
see,
like,
Marcus
how
is
the
right.
street gets like this?
Marcus is
Exactly.
right in what he's saying. These kids are not listening to us. They're
Yeah.
not respecting us, and I understand that. But that buck stops right here in front of me.
Right.
You know,
And then you also have some of the
Yes.
parents that's scared of their own children. So
Yes.
okay.
that plays a factor in it.
The
But I
young
remember
16.
that-
Let me
that's
say
that-
this. Let me say
That's
this.
that I'm going to call the police syndrome.
Exactly.
The
No,
one we
look.
were just talking about.
The 16-year-old high school student that killed Ronnie Looney Barons on Football Sunday a few years ago was tagging on the wall across the street from where these peace givers, peace providers, peacemakers were watching the football game. And Ronnie came outside and asked him to not tag on the wall. We've been working through the neighborhood, getting the tagging down. Don't tag on the wall. That 16-year-old shot him dead in the street. And didn't blink an eye. And when we finally found him, because he's 16, he's a knucklehead, the school identified him. And how did they identify him? By his tag. Ugh. You got your tag all over your book bag. You got your tag all over your books. You got your tag all over your clothes. We know who that is.
Exactly.
Okay. His father was afraid of him. That's why he was out in the street tagging at 16, because his dad was afraid of him.
right.
When nobody's when people are afraid of you and they don't want to talk to you, then you go to do things that you shouldn't do because you need some kind of
Yeah.
attention.
Well, let me
know,
say
that's
it this
that
way.
belonging
Let
factor.
me say it this way. Was it because his father was afraid of him that he thought he was big enough to go take on anybody else?
No,
He's a
his
bully.
father didn't. He was bullying his dad, so his dad was the person that was demanding his life at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So if he could take over what he's talking about, then he feel like he could do that anymore.
To anybody else.
Yeah.
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 That's the point I was trying to make. He's a bully of his own parents, so he thinks he has the authority to go around just being a bully to any adult.
Right.
Any adult. Are you
No, I
bullying your
remember-
own father? Come on.
I remember my 15-year-old son. We went to church together, and every Sunday when we got ready for church, he would be the one lingering around, and I'd tell him, "You got 5 minutes.
Got 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes. By the time I get to that car, you better be to that car." And he would literally come running out the door with one shoe on, one shoe off, putting on his shirt and everything else. But that's the thing, because us as parents,
The
we
fear
have
is
to
reversed.
we have to take the stand. You know, if he had a scene that, oh, I don't have to go to church, you know, because my mama not pushing the issue, then he wouldn't have went to church.
No.
You know, let's be real. You know, football season in, basketball season comes up. The kids be figuring out the game on. I don't know. Even down to my oldest son, I used to tell him all the time too. You know, oh no, you guys got curfew here. It don't change here.
Right.
It don't change. The buck doesn't stop here.
Right.
This is my house.
Right.
You want to
Yeah.
control something?
My
Move out on
grandson,
your
8
own, and you
o'clock.
can control your own house.
His curfew is 8 o'clock. He said, Granny, my friends will go into 1 in the morning. I said, I don't care.
Exactly.
Yep.
Not only I'm
Nope.
glad you told me, you can't be with them no more.
No.
What school do they go to?
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Like today, like these days, you got parents that'll let a kid stay at their house past 8 o'clock and ain't even called their mama.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not even just 8 o'clock. You got parents that let the kids stay at their house overnight and won't bother about calling them. If the kid come up and say, "Oh, I'll call my mom," no, hold on. What happened to the old school? Let me check with your mama.
Yeah.
So,
Let me call your mama.
That's
and
right.
You know that it's all right. I
That's
know
right.
for me, I used to run away from home. I started running away from home when I was like 13, right? So my mama used to call everybody and tell everybody that she gonna put them in jail for harboring a minor if they stayed at her house.
Yeah.
They don't do that no more.
So, they don't do that no more. I mean, in many ways it helped me. In many ways it hurt me. But at the same time, now that I'm older, I understand why.
Exactly.
But I mean, here it is. You got parents who lose their kids because they turn their head for 2 seconds.
Yes. Yes.
Now you got kids at people's houses, and they don't even know this child nor the parent. They don't know nobody in their family. So, this is just my friend. Can I go hang out and be over here till 9, 10 o'clock? Nobody cares.
Well, I got into it with the mother and the father.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the father was going to be tough. I went to the mother, and the mother, she wanted to fight me about a young man because I knew this was a good kid. Yeah. And I was trying to figure out why he on the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I'm going to holler at him. They said, "Sister, he ain't going to listen to you." And so I went up to him. He looked at me like, who's she talking to? I said, "Excuse me. I want you to get in school by Friday." So my friend told me about the school on Crenshaw and Imperial to put him in. So then the mom said, "I ain't giving you nothing because they're going to change my check." So me and her, all I wanted was the paperwork to put him in school.
Exactly.
Finally, I got him in school. They was trying to bully him when he coming out, getting on the bus and stuff. I told him, "Stand your ground. You're not a gang member.
Right.
Let them know where you grew up at." He said, "For real?" I said, "Yeah. Telling you from Watts. I'm not mad at you. Do your thing. Get your man. But I ain't with this." And stand on that bus stop. And he did. He said it worked.
It worked.
He said it worked. They said, "Oh, he ain't no gang member. Leave him alone."
Leave him alone.
And he said after that, I didn't have no problem. When I talked to the father, he said, "Oh, he lying. He don't go to school. He's not going to graduate." So I'm like, "Are you scared of him?"
Wow.
The man was scared of him. Instead of just sitting with me saying, "Ma'am, thank you," or whatever.
Exactly.
Why the boy graduate?
Yeah.
He fooled them all. All he needed was some love.
Yeah.
Somebody to push
him. Yeah. Well, you know what? Parents have to be parents. Parents have to be parents. And if you're going to have these children, you have to be responsible for them. Their welfare, their mental attitude, their education, too.
Exactly.
You got to make sure they go to school.
Education first.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's it. Yep. That's it.
Well, I love y'all. I just want to call and give my 2 cents, man. I love all y'all. I seen y'all on here, and I said if I don't call, I'm going to get in trouble. So.
You're right about that.
Yes,
you're right about that. Because, hey, look, these are outstanding ladies here.
They got Barbara here, too.
You know it.
Yeah,
you know it, Marcus.
I was watching it before I called, so, I'm always watching somehow, whether it's before or after or during, but I appreciate every one of y'all, man. And I know, and I want everybody else to know, how y'all, take care of our communities, man. And I appreciate it if don't nobody else do.
And you know how much we love you, Marcus. You know how much we love you. So we're looking forward to you coming.
I'm going to get political on you right now. Make sure you get them out there to vote on Tuesday.
Yes.
It's a big election.
Yes.
It's a big election.
I'm kind of proud of myself too because this is my first time voting since I've been home.
All right.
Yeah.
If you got to do the Uber, be the Uber driver, the Lyft driver, whatever. Encourage them to get out there and vote. This is a big one for us.
It is a very big one. It is, and I'm glad you remembered that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad you remembered that because Tuesday is a big day. So. Marcus, you gather the youngins and let them know they're a part of this process.
I will do, and y'all just let them know, too, because I'm sharing everything. I put it on all my social medias and all that, so everybody that watch can see it. Y'all make sure y'all say something at the end to inspire somebody, because somebody going to see it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, honey. All right, well, we're looking forward to you coming back, too,
I will do. I'm hoping to come back next week.
A week after next.
Okay.
But we'll talk.
That's fine. Okay.
We'll talk. You know I love you, honey, and I always
All right,
got a
love you
spot
too.
for you.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
baby doll.
All right.
Thank you. Well, that was nice. Have our sons call and talk to
Yes.
them. Yeah, because,
You know that mean they listening.
Yes, and look how honest he was. He used to run away as early as 13, and that's been the problem with our generations.
Yes.
They haven't really known where they belonged, and haven't had the security and the safety to not think about running away at 13. And bless Marcus's heart, he was locked up at 17. They took him out the neighborhood at 17, and God really plucked him out. I hope Marcus don't mind me telling this story, but Marcus was on his way somewhere else that night with his friends, and he got plucked out.
Yes.
His friends went to that destination and didn't come home.
Yes.
What this time?
It wasn't his time.
Wasn't this time?
No, God plucked him out for what he's doing now.
Yeah.
And he's doing so great with these kids, with the anti-bullying, with the unity.
And that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It takes.
Yeah.
It takes. Sometimes you have to be put into that position to appreciate it even more.
And he's having his second chance of loving life, and I'm happy for him, and I'm proud of him because the kids love him too. They respond to him, and he has a lot.
He see the leadership in him.
Yeah. So look, we're almost out of time, so 30 seconds to say something.
Don't forget November the 6th. Get out there and vote. It's a big election. It's important.
That's Tuesday.
This Tuesday.
That's right.
If you know somebody need a ride, give them a ride.
Yep. You're right.
I like to say thank you, Mother. But tonight is a special night. From the mothers, from the wives, the sisters, we like to say thank you. Thank you for supporting everything that we do out there in the streets. And thank you for all the mothers who's out there. If you need us, you can get in touch with us. We'll be there if you need us. But I want to say to the youth, we love you.
Yes.
Find somebody. Talk to somebody.
Yes.
If you need help, let us know. We love you.
That's right. That's right. On that note, that's the end of this hour, and blessed to have you ladies here. Kathy, we missed you. Vicky, you know I was looking for you. And we have these gifts for you, too. You know, this is about the women in the work tonight. So I'm so happy you were able to come, and just thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you, community family. Thank you for listening. And Gang Talk will be back next week.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday. That's a holiday.
Yeah, it started yesterday.
You talking about Halloween?
No.